Hi, I'm Dr. Steve Grinstead, author of the book Freedom from Suffering, A Journey of Hope, and someone thriving with my own chronic pain for a long time now. You know, chronic pain can be a debilitating condition for many people. It takes on a life of its own, and some people are saying that chronic pain should also be rated as a disease in its own sake. I've been fortunate enough the past 29 years to work with thousands of individuals living with chronic pain and coexisting problems up to and including addiction. Over the past several weeks, I've worked with several people who just came into my practice who were suffering with their chronic pain and they felt their life was hopeless. One of the things I need to share with people right away is there is hope. So if you happen to be someone living with chronic pain or know a loved one or friend who is suffering with chronic pain, please spread the message of hope that you don't have to suffer. It's really possible to make peace with your pain. As a matter of fact, that's the title of a new e-book that I'm working on, is Making Peace with My Pain. I want to tell my personal story from the early years of how I always wasn't in this calm, centered, thriving place. As a matter of fact, many years ago, I was in a dark, deep pit that I call the chronic pain trance. I was morally depressed, spiritually depressed, physically depressed. I felt my life was out of options. I felt it was hopeless, and I became helpless. And at one point, I almost chose a long-term solution to this short-term problem. I'm really grateful that I had people in my life that reminded me that all I needed to do was live one day at a time. And taking that philosophy, I remembered some of the other spiritual training I received while practicing the martial arts. On our dojo wall, there was this Sanskrit proverb that I really fell in love with. It says, "Today well lived makes every yesterday a dream of happiness and every tomorrow a vision of hope." So many years later, I walked into a recovery room and I saw the slogan, "One day at a time." And that really made sense to me. And that's what I've been doing, is living one day at a time with the hope that tomorrow's going to be better and knowing that I won't regret what I did today. Making peace with my pain meant I had to change my relationship with my pain. This is what I help people do. I help them differentiate between their physical pain symptoms and their psychological emotional pain symptoms. Because the psychological emotional symptoms are what I call suffering. It's the amplifier circuit. It what boosts all those other physical symptoms. A case in point was a gentleman I worked with last week who was coming off 3 or 4 years of being on opiates, and the last one he was on was methadone at high doses. He was on anywhere between 60 to 100 milligrams a day for several years. When I met with him, he had taken his last dose about 12 hours previously, and he was suffering some withdrawal. I saw him again yesterday, and what a difference. He noticed that he wasn't experiencing a lot of the suffering symptoms once I pointed out at the first session that these are something he can do something about. He noticed that now that he was off the opiates for about a week, that his physical symptoms were way down. He still had a lot of the emotional, psychological symptoms and thinking processes, and that's what we started working on yesterday. So for me, making peace with pain means learning to have a better relationship with pain and stop seeing pain as the enemy. I believe that freedom from suffering is a right, and it's also a responsibility. I'm so grateful today that I was responsible enough and had the social support in my life to be able to move out of that deep, dark, chronic pain trance and move past surviving into thriving. And so can you. Thank you.